Yeah.
Um, so Ashwin, now I want you to brag. So share a win, whether it's big or small, that you've had because of us engaging and our work together.
Absolutely. I mean, when we started out on this coaching exercise, I was a PM running one team, and I had shared with you my goal of very quickly becoming a lead product manager, running a team of PMs. And it just because it's almost like Shobit, you challenged me, right? You said week to week, what are you going to do specifically about these things that you have in your mind? Uh, Setting that game plan and doing that has got me to a point where now I'm running two product teams with two PMs as my not my directs yet, but they are my mentees, if you will, right? And but there is a path there to me becoming a product leader with a team of PMs reporting to me, and I feel like that would not have, that was that was amazing to see that transition could happen so quickly. I was like planning 6 months down the line, maybe a year down the line, I'd get here. But having the right kind of push and doing these exercises with you and having that week to week plan has really made me stretch and made me go for the things that I want a lot faster.
Yeah, I want to add a couple of things. I remember the moment when you told me that, and it was like a 6 month plan. In 6 weeks, you told me, "Oh, this has happened." Like, whoa. So,
I had a
uh,
little bit of, but yeah, I mean, luck comes to those who try, right?
absolutely. So, want to point out two things. One, that look, results can happen faster than you think. Just, I don't believe in like you have to put so much time to get somewhere. I believe results can happen faster than you think. But I just want to, say that it doesn't happen to everyone. There is luck involved, but there's also just folks that execute like crazy. And Ashwin is one of those folks who just like, we talk about it and it's done. I have never a doubt that next time it will be done or not. In fact, he's already like, oh, I've also thought of these three things. And Shobit, when are we doing this? So just want to say like the ownership also lies on the client, and Ashwin, you always are an example of that.
Absolutely. I mean, I make it a point to prepare for these classes, right? Like I've got you give us plenty of time. You've given us 2 weeks between these classes. And I would say that to the PMs out there, right? Who are thinking of trying this. Yes, you will have a lot of things to balance with this, but you've got 2 weeks to do it and you can time slice and prioritize these things. And there's enough time to make progress on everything that you talk about in these classes. And it's nice to come back and have that feedback loop being like, I said I'm going to do this, I did it, now what's the next step, and to kind of brainstorm with you what approaches I could take, which it really, I think I love that feedback loop.
So I'm curious, what caused you to seek out intentional product manager and this program as you're going through your search?
Yeah, it's a great question. So really what I was running into is, I have an MBA in a background, so I have a pretty decent network, but it was really taking my own career and trying to make sense of it in terms of these discussions. So I was getting interviews, so I was getting into the first couple rounds. And so I would say a few flame outs with like AWS where I got midway through and I kind of hit a wall, and then sort of Microsoft, and then some other sort of medium tier tech companies in the Seattle area that, I had some people at that I'd known. But it was one of those, it's like, oh, we really like you, but you're not quite a fit, or somebody else had a little stronger in this area. And so what I was going through is trying to figure out, all right, I know how to do the work. I have a pretty good background from a business side and some from technology side, but I didn't think I was framing it in a way that made sense. And I didn't have the sort of stereotypical 7 years of a PM role, which you see in a lot of roles right now. It's like, oh yeah, you need to have 7 years. It's sort of like this oxymoron. You need it to get it, but you can't get it until you have it. And so it's like, how do you fit into there, kind of thing. So I was really thinking through how I framed my skill set to make it come across clearer. That was really what I was struggling with. So there's a couple things in there. Is that I wanted some guidance on how to take apart and to really deconstruct my career so it made sense as a product manager. And then the other things that I found, one of the, I said, flame out of AWS, is I ran into the whole field of product management interview type questions, specifically. Behavioral questions I'd done before, the whole STAR method, situation, task, action, response, all that, no problem. It was into these interesting ones like estimation or product design or systems, thinking through them. I could answer the question, but it was one of those things where you felt like there was a rubric they were using to measure you that you didn't know. And so it's like, okay, they're looking for something. What is that something that they want to have? Like this, and this, and then they move on. I was filling in some of them, but not knowing what the test was about. It was sort of like I was filling in answers randomly on a page.
Yeah, that's very well described. It's okay, you're clearly looking for something. Did I hit it? What exactly is that what you're looking for?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Well said. Well said. So, tell us, so you said working with us. What was for you, like, as you thought about, should I work with Shobit? Should I work with intentional product manager or not? What were the big questions that came to your mind, and what got you ultimately to join?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, you might remember it, but it was like our first conversation. It really went into a lot of this, right? And you did a great job of probing into that and thinking through, what are my challenges that currently running into. It wasn't a long decision. It was like I made the decision on the spot, and it was like, yep, that's what I need to do. Because I think at that point, like I was just sort of saying, I'd thought about the requirements, if you will, of what I was needing. And so I had a pretty good, at least rough out of where I was going. Mm-hmm. And when our conversation really checked all of the boxes. And so if you think about, requirement and solution fit, it almost had a perfect overlap, right? So it was like the Venn diagram aligned really well. And so that helped me to really think about that. So it was great. So like, yep, this is the type of thing I need. One, somebody's been through some of this pain and I think got punched in the face a few times as well, so I don't have to. And then also really helping me think through in a very empathetic way of what it is that I brought to an organization and how to frame that conveys it in a very, very effective manner.
Love it. Love it.
I didn't realize how much confidence I had lost in the interviewing process in marketing myself before I started speaking with Sam and Shobit. At the stage I'm at in my career, at the product level, I was fairly new to product interviewing. And so not having that pointed feedback and experiencing loads of rejection that comes with the job search, it really took a huge hit to my confidence. And so building that back up, not just through practice, but through building a interview routine, which sounds a bit silly, but it really makes a world of difference before the interview, to have a routine of how to build up your confidence and how to really get in that frame of mind and ready to interview. That's the biggest difference. And obviously it paid off as a result. Got myself a job.
Tell us a win, big or small, that you've had because of us working together, and tell us how did that feel at the end of the day?
Sure. So I think one of the biggest wins is I don't feel very overwhelmed anymore. And I think that's huge for me, because I'm the kind of a person who wants to do it all, read it all, be in the know-how always. And that was exhausting me before. And all the work that I have to do at work, and then all the pending projects, everything that I have to do at home and all the pending projects, I used to just be constantly overwhelmed. But I think by working with you, I got the clarity that everything has like its time and place, and you can work on all of them, but like you have to think about them from the grand perspective, etc. Like the clarity session definitely helped. The other session that helped me a great deal was the courage session. I think I'm definitely having like more comfortable with having difficult conversations. And that certainly helped me at work more so than at home, because I did have all of these concerns with how the team was being run or how the company was being run or the lack of strategy, etc. But I didn't have the courage to have those open conversations with my boss. So that was another win, that I was able to have those complicated conversations without risking my influence over the people I worked with. That was great. Another win professionally was I was more comfortable just having an influence and not having people like me. That was like one of the biggest reveal, because I'm like an inherent people pleaser. I need to have people around me like me. But then working with you, I realized that there are more important things. Like I can still make things work, or I can still have influence over people, even though they don't like me on a day-to-day basis, because again, we're working for this greater good. I think that was definitely one of the wins. And I would like go back to my first one. I still sometimes get overwhelmed, but now I have the tools to definitely handle those. So when things get out of control now, we did talk about a lot of different meditations, a lot of different practices that I can do. I know I can just get a workout done and I go back to my Zen mode. So I feel prepared now. Like even when things get out of control, I know that I can go back, I have my tools, I can go back to my notes, and I definitely can take care of it. So I definitely brag about that a lot. And people have also definitely noticed the difference. Like my boss and my peers told me, like, what are you doing? Like, what is new? Like something has changed. And I definitely take that as a win. Like you, of course, notice that you are bolder, but when other people start noticing it, is definitely good. And then the other win is I feel like one of the things I was struggling with is I wasn't sure what was my next step. And through our clarity sessions and other sessions that we did, I could figure out what was my next step. Again, not the next step. Like I don't know still what I want to do eventually in my life, or who do I want to be when I grow up. But I know exactly what I want to do next. And you helped me get the courage to actually go for it. And I have the offer from my dream company now. So pretty happy about it. Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, that is really awesome to hear. And you know, I want to say a couple of things here. One, you know, confidence, the ultimate confidence that you can have is the confidence that whatever life throws at you, you'll figure things out. And that's what I've seen you demonstrate now, Priyanka. It's just like, you know, yeah, things will go wrong, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And just the other one, you've just been a model client, like
you're too kind.
Take things and just like get them done. Never had to follow up. You'd already read everything multiple times. Just absolutely amazing client.
I think I told you that in like first session. I'm teacher's pet and I do my homework. But no, it was great. And that's the thing. I am a big sucker for frameworks. And when things are put in frameworks and perspective, it makes just so much sense to me. Totally. And having those tools were definitely more important for me, because we have a young family and I'm still very new in my career. Things are just going to get more complicated from now on. Yeah. And if I get overwhelmed now, that's not going to help me in the future. I'm very ambitious. So if I want to do it right in all different perspectives or wrong and learn from it, I needed those tools, and that definitely helped.
You know, we spoke, you got to know about the intentional job search program. What were your biggest hesitations before you go like, okay, Shobit, I'm in, let's go do it?
Yeah, I think one would be like investments. It is, you know, a bit of an investment, but as we talked about my DISC profile, like I think about it more in terms of what I could lose as in terms of what I can gain. So that's a little bit of a mind shift. You know, you wonder, like, can I do this on my own and things like that? And I've tried, right? And I haven't really achieved exactly what I wanted. Those were some hesitations, I would say. Yeah, I think those are the main ones.
Yeah. So you know, totally, you know, like there's an investment involved. There's a question of, can I do this on my own? So what pushed you over the edge to take the leap and say, okay, I'm in, let's go do this? Yeah,
I mean, usually, you know, it is a leap of faith, but there's so many testimonials, so you can definitely get a sense of what the journey was for others.
And now there'll be one more.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find those helpful. I mean, not just to build trust in the program, but just to kind of expand your mind as to, hey, what could this mean for me? Where have others taken their career using this, so that you can open your horizons a little bit. So I think it's really good to go through those, at least for that reason. Yeah. And then in terms of could I do it on my own? Potentially, but like I said, like I had, you know, a baby at home and really limited time in between cries and things like that. And so really wanted to maximize and to learn from a community of other product managers, all focused on the same goal. Like, I think that really helps to drive one's own motivation. You learn from others, you see what they're doing. So that pushed me forward. In terms of the investment, you know, just thinking about what return I could be making, because, you know, I think I was historically underpaid. And I had a bunch of myths around that as well that were kind of debunked through the program. So recovering that through that ROI and kind of thinking your career more holistically helped, I think. Yeah.
Love that.